Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Good to be back at it. Practice yesterday. Had a really good practice with the team yesterday. Looking forward to this week. Looking forward to Saturday. Obviously, our team is really focused on getting the trophy back here in Seattle, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to get that done. Really focus in playing a good football game, play our brand of football. I'm excited to be able to get back on the field after the bye week. Guys spent a lot of days preparing for next Saturday, as well as did a good job of recruiting this past weekend. So players are back. We're off today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, but we're ready to go and looking forward to Saturday.
In a lot of big regional rivalries. How does it change from when you're an assistant to when you're the head coach and the experience you had at Arizona?
Well, yeah, I mean, at Arizona, you obviously have the Arizona State game. As an assistant, I was a part of the UCLA-USC game, Michigan-Ohio State game, Florida State game. So, there's all those games that all have impact, Michigan State. But obviously, the focus we have is on this one, and all of our energy, all of our passion, all of our focus is on the Apple Cup. And when you are responsible for a team, then you have all of that responsibility to get your team prepared, get them ready to play, get them focused, and not just be concerned about just calling the game maybe in some of those other situations back 6-7 years ago, but getting the team ready to play.
What's the balance for you between treating every game the same in terms of process and preparation, but also maybe trying to add a little more juice into a rivalry game?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely every game is a championship opportunity. Every game is an important to go 1-0, right? That's always a mentality that coaches take. But we have a goal here, and one of our goals is to own the state of Washington, and one of our other goals is to win championships. And really, there's only there's 3 trophies you can get nowadays. You can get the Apple Cup trophy, you can get a Big Ten championship trophy, and then you can get your postseason trophy, whether that be the national championship or the bowl game. So this is one of those. The only one that's guaranteed to us is this game. We have to earn the opportunities to play in the Big Ten championship, earn the opportunity to play in postseason, but this one we're guaranteed. So this is a championship game, and that being the case, our full focus is on winning the championship, and that's what our conversations have been about the last 4 days.
Do you have to educate your guys on what the Apple Cup is all about? And I ask that because both rosters are probably 80% guys from out of state. The starting lineups, I think they're 80% all new for both sides. So it's almost like there's not a lot of traditional knowledge, I think, for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. We talked a little bit last Thursday just about the amount of years the game has been played. We talked about the overall record of the two programs against one another. We talked about some of the quotes that were made years and years ago, and probably some of the players that they've never heard of. Talked about quotes from Mike Price, talked about quotes from Dennis Erickson. Then you have to then teach them who Mike Price and Dennis Erickson are. So it's kind of like the constant education when you talk about a game like this. But on the same token, you also have to remember that this is what's happening at every program across the country, that when you are having these rivalry games, that you have a lot of players that haven't played in them or that are new to them. And that being the case, you just have to treat it like its own entity, give them the best education you can, tell them how important it is, but on the same token, just go out and play the game the best you can.
Being that it is rivalry week. How did you learn about it? And how much did you learn last year and to apply to this year?
Yeah, well, last year, we probably spent a little I spent more time researching it. I spoke with, we had Lawyer Malloy come in here. We had Michael Jackson come in here. I spent some time talking to other alums about the game. So I've kind of been educated in that regard. I would also say that when you play in the game, right, when you coach in the game, you become quickly educated on the game, right? Until you actually participate in the game as a coach or player, it's a rivalry game that you're aware of. So I would say after the game, when you see governor giving out a trophy, when you see presidents on the podium, you see how important the game is. And then you see the tears in the locker room when the outcome isn't what you want it to be. You feel the taste in their mouth when in all of our mouths not winning that game. You see a trophy not coming back into an empty trophy case. So all of those things certainly make it very real and very important and unique in college football.
Being that it is rivalry week, I'm sure you've been to Pullman. Do you have a most memorable moment in Pullman?
Well, the last time I was in Pullman was in 2023. We had a really good game. We won 44-6, and played really good football and went on to. We were 3-3 at that time. I believe they were 5-1 at that time, and we went on to win 7 in a row. So it was a good day. It was a good game, but obviously that was a different team, a different school. Different coaches, everything is completely different. So that was my only memory of being in Pullman, and that was a good memory. A few years prior to that, we were in Pullman the weekend before the weekend before the Apple Cup, the 11th game of the season, and it was a snowstorm, and we didn't come out on top. So 1-1 there in Pullman, and certainly didn't have great memories of that game.
Any updates?
What's that?
Health-wise with the team, any guys, any updates?
No, right now we're gonna continue to monitor Tacario Davis, continue to monitor Javon Parker, continue to monitor. We obviously know Rashid's out. He had surgery, as did Dyson. But other than that, I think the rest of the team is in a pretty good place.
Will you get either one of the surgery guys back this season?
I think we have a chance to get Rashid back. Dyson will be out for the season.
Dyson.
Dyson had a shoulder surgery.
Would you say Tacario is more questionable than probable at this point, or?
Yeah, I'd say he's questionable at this point. We gotta really see how, and he'll probably be day to day here for a while.
Dyson have a chance to redshirt and come back, or does he use that?
He would have to. I believe he'd have to medically redshirt, which would be a possibility.
Coach, 2 coaches got let go this weekend, and it's just going to happen. Your name is going to come up for every opening out there, it just seems like. How do you deal with that, especially when it comes to recruiting and it's being used against you?
Yeah, I focus on the fact that we're playing a team that beat us 24-19, and that is literally the only thing that I'm thinking about. We had a really tough game against them a year ago. We got stopped on the 1-yard line. My mind is strictly on that, and a lot of players want to come here, recruiting-wise. A lot of players want to be a part of our program. I don't worry about what other coaches say about what I'm going to do.
Speaking of that play, what can you say about it now, a year later? I know you've been a play caller for a long time, and they work and they don't work. But when you look back at that one, I think it was short side of the field, and they somehow had it snuffed out. I mean, even the tight end didn't even get a chance to do anything before they made the tackle.
Yeah, we didn't execute the play very well. Looking back on it, you could on every play call that any of us have ever had, when they work, we feel great about it. When they don't work, we're disappointed that it happened. And that was one of those plays that, you wish it worked and you wish it had a different outcome, but it didn't. And it's now the responsibility of our staff, offense, defense, special teams, to come out there and put together the best possible plan we can, and hopefully have more plays that work than don't work. And we'll see what it looks like on Saturday.
When we spoke to you last week, you mentioned Desmond Roebuck as a potential starter for this weekend in the Apple Cup. And then on the depth chart, you added Kevin Green as a potential starter as well. What has he done to earn that designation?
Yeah, I think, Desmond Roebuck has certainly earned the right to start. What we've done is we've just wanted to make sure that we've got competition every week. And when you have a bye week and you have a couple extra practices, you keep seeing more guys continue to compete and continue to focus on competition. And I don't want anybody really to feel like, it's just a done deal, right? Every week, every day of practice, if competition is going to be the central theme of our program, then we certainly can't, after 2 weeks, make declarations that doesn't give opportunity to other people to continue to work to either start or make the starters better. And that's why we made those changes. And we also had to make those changes because Rashid's going to be out for probably close to 6 weeks. So I'm not one of those coaches that like to play the game of keep the injured guys that are guaranteed to be out sitting on a depth chart. I don't think that's the right way to do it.
Expect Amari Evans back this week?
I do. He practiced full go yesterday. So as long as we have no setbacks, I do expect him to be back and be ready to go this week in some capacity.
How do you prepare for a team like Wazoo where they kind of have some questions at quarterback? They have 3 different guys they've played. What do you kind of look at defensively to prepare for that?
Yeah, I talked to Coach Walters about that last evening. It's certainly unique because of the fact that they played 3 quarterbacks in the game on Saturday, and at least one of the 3 has a completely unique skill set compared to the other 2. So, in the way the game went, the quarterback that started and the quarterback that finished the game have more similar skills than the quarterback that came in the second quarter and played some. But we have to have a plan for all 3. Certainly a plan for the 2 different types of quarterbacks and make sure that, we can both stop the quarterback run game that occurred in the second quarter and a little bit of the third, and then the drop back game, play action game, and more of the traditional under center running game that occurred early in the game and then late in the game. That game got away from them with all the turnovers, but that's hard to really assess. It's very hard to get 5 takeaways in a game, and North Texas did that, which then of course caused a complete disruption, I'm sure, in what they were trying to do offensively.
I know you've been a proponent of a spring transfer portal window. It sounds like the game is moving toward one window in January. I'm just curious your reaction to that.
Yeah, I was disappointed in that. I agreed with Coach Day, and really almost every one of the Big Ten head coaches all felt that January was not the right time. And I still believe that. We'll do whatever we need to do. But the idea of having a January 2 portal when last year our football season ended December 31st. We were not a playoff team, but our season still ended December 31st. You have to start deciding whether you're going to negotiate with players the whole month of December when you're trying to prepare your team. You have to decide at what point in your season are you going to talk about contracts. You're going to have to decide about how much real NIL are players getting versus revenue share, and you've had to speed up the timeline there. Coaches changes occur, not just head coaching changes, but assistant coach changes occur. And now you have to sit there and try to figure out, can you hire somebody before January 2nd so they can meet the new position coach? I'm sure there are some coaches or some guys that leave programs that then get to meet a new coach and wish they didn't leave the program. I think that as a school like us, who starts classes January 5th, I think it's a monster disadvantage. There's no thought process of quarter schools when that decision was made. To get guys into school is going to be extremely challenging. So we're going to have to figure out how that's going to work. Are guys going to just spend a few months here in Seattle without being in school? There's a lot of things that went into these decisions that, for me, I don't see it. I don't see the argument that you have to know who your team is on January 10th. I think we do know who our team is. I think 95% of our team would stay if it was a spring portal window. And I think the 5% you brought in would just be people that were coming to aid and help your program. The idea of thinking that 25 guys are going to leave or 20 guys are going to leave in January, to me, is crazy and not realistic. But we didn't win that one. So we'll adjust. We'll figure it out. And on January 2nd, hopefully we have very few players that want to enter the portal, and that our team can continue to build through recruiting like our plan has always been here. Okay.
You mentioned you looked at the quotes from the previous Apple Cups. Do you know the best one?
You tell me, Dan.
Don James said he was a 3,000-word underdog to Jim Walton.
That is a good one. I did not see that one, but that's a good one. But yeah, there's a lot of good quotes out there. Most important thing is let's just go play good football, and that's what we're focused in on. And we're focusing on our team, playing the best they possibly can on Saturday, and that's what we're going to do.
What are you going to do to make sure your players are disciplined during the game? Cut down on penalties. What's your focus there?
Yeah, I talked to our team about that. I think we average 5 penalties a game. There's no reason for that average to go up, just because we're playing in the Apple Cup. Just do the same thing you've been doing. I think we're right on track to, if you're going to have 5 penalties a game, that's above averagely good. So we're looking to stay in that range. I think we've had 1 personal foul penalty, and it was a face mask penalty. If we have that, we have that. That was an effort play. Let's not have any dumb penalties, right? The dumb penalties are the ones we have to avoid. We had 3 defensive offsides to end the game last year. That was insane. And we have to avoid that. And we had we probably had the most amount of penalties that I've ever been a part of in a game last year. And that obviously was a big factor in the loss as well. So we recognize that. We've talked to our team about that. And we're hopefully going to do everything we possibly can to avoid it.
What's the message to a guy like Buddha? This is probably going to be an emotional weekend for him, obviously his history at Washington State. How do you talk to a guy like that and prepare him for what he's going into in Pullman?
Yeah, we talked about it. We'll talk again. I think that's an interesting part of what we're all dealing with now with the portal and with some of these changes. College football is completely different than it once was, and a lot of the old ideas and the way things were are not the same. But we'll just talk to him about he's a Husky, and that's what he is right now. And he was a Cougar, and now he is a Husky, and his job is to represent the University of Washington in the best possible way he can. And that's on the field, playing with great effort. That's being disciplined. That's being smart. It's making a lot of tackles. It's being a great communicator. And that's hopefully at the end of the game celebrating a victory if we do our job and if we do a good job at playing on Saturday. And that's really the only thing that we can ask from Buddha.
It's kind of weird to have a bye in week 3. Did you approach it any differently because it was early in the season compared to the midpoint, and what kind of film review did you do, or how'd you handle it?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. I liked the idea of, we were able to have, training camp was pretty significant for us, and we worked really hard at camp, and then we played a couple games, and to me it was a good 6-week break, and then we're going to play another 6 games and then take another bye. And, this to me has, initially you look at it and you question wow, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle a bye and after the second game of the season? But once we lived through it and we realized, where our players were physically after training camp and then playing 2 games, it gave us a great opportunity to reset. We didn't really have to do a lot of self-scout because there really wasn't enough film to deep dive into that. But what we were able to do is continue to use these days to install and put more stuff in and continue to build off of our offense and our defense and our special teams. And then now we get to, I think it's another 6 weeks of football, maybe 5. And then we have that Halloween week after the Illinois game that gives us another chance to reset. So came at a good time.
Is Amari an option at that Z spot, competing with Desmond, or is he really still in the slot?
No, Amari's an option. Play outside and in.
Anything else for everybody?
You taking 60 or how many?
How many players are we taking? I think we would take probably the maximum we could take, which is 74. I think we take. Or I don't even know we could take more than that, I think, because of the fact that it's a non-conference game now. So, yeah, I think we'll probably take as many as we can. Okay. Thank you.